Hello, welcome to my channel, Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and I am participating in a brand new event this year. It's called Rocket Summer, July 2024. And this event was created by Michael K. Vaughan to celebrate reading classic science fiction. And all you have to do is read a classic science fiction work to participate. There are 4 weekly prompts. You do not necessarily have to follow the prompts to participate in Rocket Summer. And the prompts are really easy. Week 1, read a book of classic science fiction published in the 30s or before. So you can go back to Frankenstein, H.G. Wells, or Jules Verne, or anyone else, as long as it was published before 1939. The second week is read classic science fiction published in the 40s. And then, third week, read classic science fiction published in the 50s. And the last and fourth week will be to read classic science fiction published in the 60s. The 60s are sort of when there was a big change in science fiction. That's when the new wave hit. And instead of trying to, find exactly when that changeover happened, any book published in the 60s is going to count. So I hope you choose to participate. I am going to be showing you a little bit of my TBR and my rejects, because going through and making my TBR, I did have a bunch of rejects. So first, what I'm going to say is I'm going to read 1 novel and 1 short story for each of the prompts. And I will show you now my rejects. Originally published in 1933, When Worlds Collide by Philip Wiley, and who's the other guy? Edward Ballmer. This is the story of planets going to crash into Earth and the efforts to get people off planet to survive. It is not a particularly long book. It is like 190 pages. However, the print is teeny tiny. I do want to read this someday. Cities in Flight by James Blish. This is actually a collection of 4 novels. They were originally published in 1957, 1962, 1955, and 1958. Let me just read a little bit from the back cover, because although the name James Blish stands out in my mind as one of the great early science fiction authors, I don't think I've read anything by him before. The epic cycle of history of the future is now brought together in 1 volume. James Blish has structured an entire universe in which mankind is no longer bound to the solar system, but has become both conqueror and victim of the stars. I don't want to get too involved in such a big collection. I could just read the first book, but it just did not make the cut. Now this one, I'm picking it up. Oh, got to do this right, because this is Conqueror of the Space Sea by James Moore Williams. And this is fun because all you have to do is turn over the book and you get Galactic Breed by Lee Brackett. So this would be fun if you're reading it, because you can just finish one book and then turn it over and start reading the other. And these were originally published in 1952 and 1955. Another book that I've been meaning to reread for a long time is Solaris by Stanislaw Lem, originally published in Polish in 1961. One of the truly great science fiction novels ever written, about a vast, intelligent planet, completely alien intelligence to humanity. Now, I am holding up this book so you have something to see. This is not the edition you actually want to read. As I said, Solaris was originally published in Polish, and then someone translated it into French. And the publisher could not get a Polish to English translator, but they got a French to English translator. So this is the English translation of the French translation. Not the best. There are audiobooks and ebook editions that are directly translated from the Polish, and I would highly recommend seeking those out. Colossus by D.E. Jones, 1966. This is about a vast computer intelligence system. As I said, it's 1966, so I'm just curious about how different our computers are from his imagining of a 1966 computer taking over the world. Lastly, published in 1967, is Lord of Light by Roger Zelazny. This is sort of a Hindu epic science fiction novel that I've always been meaning to read, but it did not make the cut. Okay, now to show the books that did make the cut. Pirates of Venus by Edgar Rice Burroughs, originally published in 1933. This is very much in the same vein of his John Carter of Mars, only you have a man named Carson going to Venus. In the 40s, we have Lest Darkness Falls by Lester Del Rey. This is a story of time travel, where you have a professor, as I understand it, going back in time to ancient Rome, and he says, can I prevent the Dark Ages from happening? In the 50s is The Demolished Man by Alfred Bester. This is a story of a world where everyone knows what everyone else is thinking. So how can a man commit a murder and stay undiscovered? This often gets listed as one of the greatest science fiction novels ever written, and I have not read it. For the 60s, I am going to The Lovers by Philip Jose Farmer. This was described as a pioneering work of science fiction, exploring religion and sexuality. It is a story of a military starship that arrives at a distant planet. Now, there are three conflicting powers in this future. One of them is based on basically the US. Another is the Malay Republic and the Israeli Republic. And let's just say there's going to be some religious tension. And I really want to get to this. There will be a bonus book for the fourth week. And that is because I wanted to include at least one audio book for this challenge. So I'm going to be picking up Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert A. Heinlein, originally published in 1961. It is the story of a human raised on Mars by Martians who gets transported back to Earth and has to teach Earth the Martian way. Now on to my short stories. I'll be reading from the Science Fiction Hall of Fame, Volume 1 for the 30s, and that is Twilight by John W. Campbell. John W. Campbell is very famously known as the author of Who Goes There, which was turned into a movie called The Thing, at least twice. For the 40s, I will be picking up Arena by Fredric Brown. Fredric Brown was adapted into a Star Trek episode when Captain Kirk is forced to fight this lizard captain on a planet with no resources, and it's supposed to be a battle to the death. For the 50s, I'm going to switch to this volume of the Science Fiction Hall of Fame to read The Marching Morons by C.M. Kornbluth. This is really one of the world's most notorious science fiction stories, but it is a good one. It has to do with what do you do with all the stupid people in the world? There really must be a good solution. For the 60s, I'm going back to volume 1, and it's going to be A Rose for Ecclesiastes by Roger Zelazny. And that sort of makes up for me ditching Lord of Light. Well, that is my TBR for Rocket Summer. There may be some last-minute changes because that is just the way life flows. Thank you for watching, and keep on reading.